It was dry and hot, not cold. So lack of water means shorter season. It means it's harder to keep your cows happy. It means it's harder to have consistency. It's harder to clean. It's harder to manage your pasture. And warmer means, well, what it means is the cheese stays for a shorter time on the mountain. It comes down quicker than usual to us because the cellars can't really be cooled down enough. Again, they were designed pre-global warming times, so that's what they're dealing with. And then again, warmer means perhaps the milk won't be as abundant as usual. The cheese won't be following the same acidification curve as usual. They just had to go through each pasture quicker than usual because there was less feed available, so you ran out quicker than usual. So Chenot is in a separate area from two of the other sites that we supply you from. Chenot is close to the Letiva area, so it's at one of the edges of Fribourg, in a beautiful area. Well, none of the sites are really in a not beautiful area, but it's several sites, so transhumans during the summer as well, and run by one single family for many years now. Because moisture in 2019 was higher for some reason, so the cheese was made with a higher moisture content. It might be that the taste will be a little more advanced than usual in comparison with other sites, for example, or previous years. So this can be good. There's two sites, and the two of them burned down, maybe 1 or 2 years apart from each other, in like the mid-90s, quite stupidly because of army training. The military has trainings in that area after the cows and the farmers leave the chalet. So that's like October, November. So they have exercises, and they shoot a mortar in that area. And so what they do is sometimes they sleep at night in that chalet, just during the exercise season. And so from what I heard, there was a lot of fog, and they made fire in that chalet just to keep warm. And for some reason, when they woke up or came back the next day, the chalet wasn't here anymore, but they couldn't see because of the fog. In this case, it checks out because Gruyere is the most modern of all these sites. Like, it's been rebuilt using, I don't know, concrete tiles. Yeah. Because it was in the mid-90s, so there wasn't really a point in not using concrete whenever necessary. So this year is no different because what we've seen is Gruyere is usually the best of the batch, or the most pleasing of all chalets that we can supply you with. The one with the most balanced flavor and the ideal Alpage flavor that everybody likes, like robust, some smoke, but not too much. Let's just remind people that the smoke doesn't come from artificial flavoring or smoking of the cheese. It's just because the cheese is made over fire and cheese is made of 1/3 fat, this smoke gives taste to the curd inside the vat, which is then found inside of the cheese. So the cheese comes from the smoke taste comes from the fire produced to heat the curd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess to compare the first two we've spoken about, Chanot to me has always been more approachable, and probably something that if you're kind of wading in on the Alpage side, it's very recognizable from a Gruyere perspective. But Gruyere has that kind of more kind of to it.
Yeah. That has to do with either space, so space available, or maybe the direction of the winds blowing that day. There can be some like back smoking inside the chalet, or I also know some chalets have been designed with a chimney facing the wrong way. So well, it's basically like designing airport runways, right? You look at the dominant winds, and then you're so there's a cap on the chimney, and the cap has to protect the smoke, preventing it from going back inside the house for most of the days during the summer. But there has been wrong designs around. I don't
The
know
wind.
if I don't know if Thermo is one of those, but it does exist. So what we've noticed is that the transition brought sometimes a shorter paste, meaning it's a little bit drier, but the positive aspect is that you can age it for longer, if that
Okay.
makes sense to you.
Yeah.
So you might be able to keep it for a big amount, like couple or 3 or 4 or 6 or 8 months longer than previously. That's a positive trade-off, wouldn't you say? These Alps are cancelled, obviously. Um, I believe the herds will sometimes walk down instead of being in trailers, but it's just there won't be gatherings. But
Yeah.
the herds that usually walk down, they will still walk down,
But
except
in
no gatherings.
which seems like a real shame from what you're saying. This has been a very good season, and it should be. It would be nice to be able to celebrate it, but this is not the era we live in.
Mm-hmm. It is what it is.
It is what it is. All right. Well, we'll look forward to those 2020 cheeses
Yeah.
next.
Let's try to be positive, Jonathan.
I
2020
mean,
has been a great year for Alpage cheese making. Not too warm, not too dry. Spring was kind of dry and everybody was worried, but then everything got back to normal, and it has been a fast but early season, and it seems everybody's happy.